In this video, we're going to look at the allotments grid in the REI Master bookings. In your bookings grid, there is an allotments button at the top here. If we click into that one, we are then shown the allotments grid. I'm going to work our way through this one here and just explain each of the cells or the information that appears. You will see over on the left hand side, we've got some information that shows with a title or a header, the room types that we have available, another one here for your agent, another remaining option, and as we scroll down, things that identify your comfort factor and a channel manager figure. So let's start back at the top and we'll work our way through these ones here. What we can see over on this one here is what's going to give you an indication of what's available now, and the available figure that shows here is made up of what rooms you have. So in our case here of a 2-bedroom apartment, there's 6 of those available, less any bookings that have been made, less any maintenance that might be inserted into the grid for a period of time. So if we have a look to the 9th of October here, out of the 6 2-bed apartments that we have available to let, 4 are currently available. For the next day, 5, 11th again 5, and then it drops down to 1 for future dates there. Again, as an example, if we look at the 3-bed apartment, it tells us we've got 3 available. Tonight there's 2, next day 2, and again as we move forward, the figure will change accordingly. What we can also see underneath the actual room type there is our packages or a tariff plan. So in this case here we've got a 2-bed 2-night, 5-night and a 7-night. We've also got a theme park special for 5 nights there as well for our 2-bedders. For the 3-bed apartment, again our packages or tariff plans are a 3-bed 3-night, 5 and 7 again. The tariff plans are shown with an asterisk, a hash sign alongside these ones, so you can clearly identify these as the tariff plans, not the real room types. We're now going to have a look at what would be allotments for your wholesalers or your agents that you deal with. So if we have a look here, we've got Flight Centre listed as an agent, and alongside a couple of the room types here, we can see figures showing in the box there. How do we enter an allotment, or how do we identify what the allotment is? I'm just going to click on this one here to give you an indication. What I've got in here, the agent is Flight Centre, the room type is the 2-bed apartment. We've got an allotment of 2 for the dates the 1st of the 10th through to the 30th of the 9th, so a year's worth, on a release back period of 7 days. So how do we identify this in the grid here? So currently today, through for 7 days, up to this point here, is our release back period. So we can see that the figure on the right hand side shows a 0. Okay, so that means there's none available. After the 7-day period, that figure on the right hand side changes to the 2 to show what has been given as an allotment to this agent. So the way to read this information now, we just look at this particular cell here. This one says that Flight Centre has available 2 out of the 2 allotments given to them. If we move across to this cell here, it says there's 0 out of 2 available. So that would suggest to me that through this period, the 23rd, 24th, 25th and 26th, is that Flight Centre have booked the 2 allotments that are given to them. So they've got none left out of the 2. Here, from the 17th through to the 22nd, they've still got their 2 allotments available. The figure that shows here, 0 of 0, meaning they haven't got any bookings and the release back period has kicked in there. The one that shows here with a negative figure just means that the agent has 3 bookings for that period, even though there's no allotments available to them. So that's not a big issue, just means we've sold 3 rooms to Flight Centre within that period there. You can also see this period up the top here, we've actually sold a 1-bed apartment to Flight Centre. Even though they had no allotments there, it just shows as a -1, meaning we actually have a booking in there issued to Flight Centre. Agent allotments can also be viewed through this other tab here. So again, just looking at the 2- and 3-bed apartments, there are allotments that have been inserted for those 2 room types. You'll see the description here, A for allotment being 2, release back period of 7, and then the date that this applies for, 1st of the 10th through the 30th of the 9th. Same for the 3-bedder here, the allotment is 1 on a release back period of 7, for the same date range in there. If we scroll down on our information here to have a look at this remaining figure here, the remaining figure is what is available in the first block less any allotments to give us this figure here. So as an example, if we look at Saturday the 17th of October, if we have a look there, for our 2-bed apartments we've got 5 available. If we look down on the grid here, it shows us that we have allotments to give to Flight Centre, 2 of those, which means 5 less the 2 now gives us this figure of 3 here. So they're the remaining number of rooms that we now have available, taking into consideration what has a booking in it and what allotments we give to our agents. At this point, I'm just going to show you a couple of other things about applying filters or collapsing the rows. So you can see if we scroll up and down, there's a lot of numbers on the screen for information there. What I'm going to do over on the right hand side here is I'm going to show you how to apply filters so we can just filter a bit of the room types that we have available. If I click into the apply filters option here, we've got a number of different ways of applying the filters there. We can do it by item type, so the headers on the left hand side. We can do it by room type, we can see there. We can do it by agent room type if they're applicable, groups when they're available, or provider IDs. I'm going to do mine by a room type here. So what I really want to see is just my tariff plans or package options for each of the 2-bed and 3-bed apartments I have available. So if I tick to show just these ones here, and then click apply, it will filter that information now just to show me over on the left hand side here my tariff plan information. I can also filter this a little bit more. Again, if I right click and collapse all of these rows, and then I'll just show my comfort factor and my channel manager ones there, because these are the ones I'm really concerned with now that I have looked at or explained what's available, what is taken into consideration for allotments to my wholesalers, and what is remaining. So now I'm very clearly identifying or just looking at the tariff plan information for the comfort factor, as I said, and then this figure here, or the channel manager figure, what will be uploaded to them. So if we have a look here at the comfort factor next, what we can see here for our 2-bed options, we've got those 4 tariff plans available, is that I'm going to put in a comfort factor or have applied a comfort factor of 1 forever and a day. So I put a default comfort factor in for my 2, 5 and 7 night options, and I've left a default comfort factor of 0 for my theme park special there. What that means is I am holding back one of these rooms or these tariff plans in order to sell it myself. So out of my available figure, less my allotments, I'm going to also hold back one. That drops me down then to show you a channel manager figure. First of all though, I'll show you how to affect a default comfort factor or how to adjust a comfort factor on an individual day basis or a selection of dates there. First thing we'll do is have a look at how we've arrived at this default comfort factor of 1. In my bookings grid under the settings and setup, we're going to look at those tariff plans. So these are the same ones we can see here, the 4 that we've got available for the 2-bedders and the 3 different ones for the 3-bedders there. So if I double click to open up this tariff plan, when setting up the tariff plan, you do have an option here for the easy channel default comfort factor, showing there as a 1. So that's what I've done for each of these tariff plans, is I've applied a default comfort factor of 1. In fact, if we have a look at my theme park one, this one's showing a 0, of course. As we could see in that allotments grid, there was a default comfort factor of 0 for those ones there. And back into the allotments grid. So we've seen there how we've adjusted or applied a default comfort factor. How do we change this then to affect cells on a day-by-day basis or a selection of dates? I can, if I wish to, click and drag across to highlight a selection of cells. If I then right click, I can edit or modify that default comfort factor, or that comfort factor there. It is showing as a 0 for those ones there, so it's inserted at least a comfort factor of 1, and you can see then the date range, the 9th through to the 15th. which is the cells that I've highlighted there. I insert the comfort factor, so I can leave it as 1 or overtype it to be higher if I wish to do so, and then save on that there. And in doing so, we've updated our comfort factor there to be 1, just for that 7-day period. I can also affect that for a greater date range, or multiple room types. So as an example, I can highlight multiple cells there. So I can also do across and down, and when I right click, I can then affect those there, put in a comfort factor of 2 as an example, and save my changes. It then has affected all of the cells that I highlighted there. Just going to return these back to the default comfort factor of 1. And there we've got them affected there. So you can see how you can apply a default comfort factor or affect cells on a selected date range. It now brings us down to this channel manager figure. So the channel manager figure is arrived at, of course, by what's available, less any allotments to give you a remaining figure, and then that remaining figure less any comfort factor figures to give you this channel manager figure. So again, if we have a look just here at Saturday the 17th, we know earlier that there was 5 2-bedders available. We had taken into consideration the Flight Centre allotment of 2, which gave us a figure of 3. I've then got a comfort factor showing for my 2, 5 and 7 night option. And so if we have a look at the ones that are showing there, under the 2, 5 and 7, 5 less the 2 less the 1 gives us a channel manager figure of 2 for those ones. The channel manager figure for the 2-bed theme park special is 3, because I'm not holding back 1 for a comfort factor as shown there. Similarly, for our additional ones here, for the 3-bed 3 nights, we've arrived at a comfort factor of 1 showing for those ones there, and obviously it changes as we go through. So the figure that we're looking at here under the channel manager information is the figure that will be uploaded to the channel manager of choice, showing what is available on a day-by-day basis for each of the room types or the tariff plans that you have available. Some other things that you can do with the allotments grid is print reports. Just going to adjust this down to be a smaller date range there. We can have a look at a report. This is the allotment report, 31 days of information from the 9th of October. It shows us then that a remaining figure, okay, what is available, less any bookings and maintenance, any allotments we have for Flight Centre, our remaining stage 2, which is available, less bookings, less maintenance, less allotments, again for those room types. Next page here, our comfort factors that we put in place. You'll see that these cells here, the ones that are greyed out, are ones that we have adjusted manually, as opposed to the default one, which is just shown as a white background. We finally arrive then at a figure here that will be uploaded to the channel manager, and again based on the tariff plans that we're looking at there. There's also an explanation of how to read this report on the last page there. I advise you to have a look through those there to explain how this report reads. Other options available, I'm just going to adjust this again down to a 14-night option. If I right click on the tariff plans on the left hand side, I can actually export some of this data either to a line chart in Excel or a bar chart in Excel as well. So let's just have a look at those ones there. So our line chart, if we have a look at this one, 14 nights, you'll see then the lines go up and down based on what allotments are available each night for the room types that we can see. So the colours on there will give you an indication of the different room types and what colours show there for the allotments available. Let's have a look at the bar chart as well. And with this one here, again, similar information but in a bar chart style. Again, the colours will identify to you the tariff plans and then the individual days showing along there. So in this video, we've had a look at the Allotments Grid, explanation of how it works or how to read it, how to affect information on there by applying allotments for your wholesalers, applying a comfort factor to arrive at a figure that will be uploaded to your channel manager.